Hello everyone. Previously we had discussed about the utility types. Also we had seen some of the examples as well, right? So by making use of the partial utility type, read-only utility type, record and the pick utility types. So today we'll be discussing about the generic types. So what are generics basically? Generics allows us to create reusable type safe components, right? Again, I'm telling this is very important and it's simple as well. Generics basically it allows us to create reusable type safe components or the functions that can work with any type. So this is simple, right? It allows us to create reusable type safe components or the functions that can work with any type. We can define a placeholder type by using the angle brackets, right? So again, I'm telling this is important. We can define a placeholder type just by using the angle brackets. While I say the angle brackets, it is nothing but this one, right? We can define placeholder type using the angle brackets, right? So let's try to implement the same with a very simple example. Let's try to understand the same thing with simple example. Initially, we'll go with the basic generic function. Let's see with the example basic generic function. Next example, let's go with the generic constraints, right? So let's go with the basic generic function. I'll quickly come here. Let me create the function. Here I'll just name the function identity, and within this one I'll just make use of the angle brackets here. Let's consider value as the parameter, and let's set this one to t here. This will be of t, and also one more thing, within this one we will be returning the value. We have considered the parameter value, right? So I'll just come here. I'll just quickly give here return value. So let's try to log something here. Console log of have considered identity as the function name, right? So I'll quickly pass the any number. I'll just give some random number 42 here, and also let's pass the string here. So I'll just come here and let me give a console log of identity. I should have copied the same thing, but that's fine. So here I'll just give hello Bharadwaj, right? So the output that we need to get here is 42 and hello Bharadwaj. So basically this is not the thing. So I have made use of the angle brackets within this one t right here. This one t basically it represents a placeholder for any type. Again I'm telling this one t whatever I have given here, this one basically what it does, it represents a placeholder for any type. And also the function identity, what this is doing, the function identity returns the same value that it receives regardless of the type, right? That is the reason we are making use of t here. T represents a placeholder for any type, and the function identity here returns the same value that it receives regardless of the type. So whatever I am logging here, identity of 42, this has to give us the output 42, and here this one hello Bharadwaj within the string. So the output that we need to get here is 42 and hello Bharadwaj, right? Let's try to run the code. So yeah, we are getting the output 42 and the hello Bharadwaj, which is absolutely correct. I hope the concept of basic generic function is completely clear. Next, let's go with the generic constraints, right? So I'll quickly delete this one. Let me quickly come here. Let's create a function. I'll just name this one merge. Let me give here t extends object here. This has to be copied small o basically, not the capital O. And u also extends object here. We close this one. I haven't closed this one, right? Angle bracket. So I'll just set this one object 1. This one let me give here to t, and also let me consider one more object, nothing but the object 2 here. This will be u, right? And this will be t ampersand u. Let's quickly make use of the return. Let's return something object 1 and object 2. We'll be making use of the split operator here. Object 1, object 2 here. So this is fine. I'll just quickly come out of the function. and I'll just make use of the variable name merged here. This one merge is the function name, right? So I'll just call the function here. So within this one, I'll just give here set the name to Bharadwaj quickly, and also so I have considered here this one, right? So just give me a second here, or I'll do one thing. Let it be like this itself. Let me close this one here. And also let me consider one more property, anything it might be. So I'll just consider here age. So age, I'll just give here 30. This one, let me give here, right? I've already closed here this one. This is fine. And finally, what I'll do, I'll just log here. I have given the variable name merged, right? So I'll just quickly log merged. So I'll quickly explain what I've done here. So t extends object, whatever I have given here, this one. Basically, this restricts t and u to be the objects, and this one t extends object, whatever I have given here, this restricts t and u to be the object. This restricts, basically, again I'm telling, t and u to be objects, right? And clearly see here, and the function merges two objects and returns a combined type t and u. Here you can clearly see we are making use of the spread operator as well, right? The function basically merges two objects and returns a combined type t ampersand u. This one we can clearly see here. That is what happening here, basically. So the output that we need to get here is name Bharadwaj and the age 30. Let's see here. Let's try to run the code. So yeah, you can clearly see here the name we are getting is Bharadwaj and the age we are getting is 30, which is absolutely correct. So I hope the concept of generic constraints is completely clear. So we saw the example, one is generic constraints and the basic generic function, right? So I hope the concept of generic types is completely clear, right? So next we will be discussing about the So yeah, next we will be discussing about the generic constraints. So now we saw generic types and also we saw the example generic with the generic basic generic function and the generic constraints. Now we will clearly see this one. We'll next we'll be clearly discussing about the generic constraints, right? For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.